Good morning. How are you? I hope good. Goals are so important that we set them to have something to aspire toward, a beacon, a lighthouse for us to refresh ourselves with and keep in our minds sometimes that we might not be lost in this swirling world we live in. Food for thought. Finding a comfortable posture, if you haven't already, undisturbed. Allowing oneself to sink into the awareness of one's physicality, of one's environment, of one's posture. What are we each individually doing to be comfortable? Why? What? How? The 5 W's and 1 H. Thomas Wilson, rhetorician, 1560 AD. Time and its passage is such a marvel. I know oftentimes we are reluctant to think of it as an opportunity. We think of it in some ways as a curse. One must grow older through our day-to-day experiences in this physical universe. And yet, it has two sides. We've spoken about it because of its opportunity we have now. In this specific very moment, the opportunity to decide how we want to proceed, what we are doing, etc. Perspective, mindfulness, are what can help lead us to a better understanding of ourselves, of our world, and its place not only in our solar system or galaxy, but the entirety of our universe. This is mindful meditation. Being here now, accepting and realizing each one of us is a bundle of miracles, unique, impossible to duplicate. Pretty incredible, right? We spend so much time, in essence, wanting to exhibit a sense of similarity with those of our species. We wear our clothes, we put on makeup, or we do our hair, we eat the same foods, oftentimes have the same spiritual traditions or religions, work in the same ways to make a living, go to the same schools to learn. And we see this in other species also. A sense of social interaction, a sense of community. Oh, it's a natural enough thing. Again, it is not either to raise it up or to tear it down, but to be aware of what we are doing, why 5 W's and 1 H. Being aware of one's breathing, this process of respiration. So vitally important, so often ignored. Being aware of our pulsing bodies, our heart squeezing oxygenated blood. Same thing, so often ignored. Being aware of the thermal energy being simultaneously created by these two processes. Now we have a greater sense of our aliveness. Right now, right here, wherever you are, and whenever here is for you. Being aware of what these three different things represent. Your shimmering life's energy, your majestic being. In the case of humans, of being a Homo sapien, of being cultivated through the test tube of Earth over 3 billion years ago to today. Now, as these words penetrate your eardrums and begin their journey on and in your auditory nerves, into one's mind, symbols, thoughts, racing to be understood. A bundle of miracles each of us are. It is in mindful meditation where we have an opportunity to grow, to nourish ourselves, to seek and find self-improvement, self-knowledge. And it is not of just oneself, in quotes, because of our similarities. Yes, differences too. But it is to understand better mankind. And in this consideration, everything else we can, knowing as much as we know. We perceive just a sliver of what's actually going on. It's like having a ream of paper. A ream of paper is 500 pieces of paper. If you have a printer then or a copy machine, you know what a ream of paper is. It's that kind of thick white paper that we put into the machine to print our characters, our letters upon, or to copy an image. If you took a ream of paper and opened it and chose one sheet from the 500, more or less, that's one sheet is what we perceive and know. And all the rest is unknown. A limitation, maybe, or a beginning from which we can learn. Humility is such as this. To know that there is a lot that we don't know is a beginning. Many wise people have said this. The beginning of wisdom is to know of one's own ignorance. It's been quoted before. And to have some sense of the breadth and depth of creation is an advantage to share with oneself and any and all others who are curious. Perspective is a tool. Humbled before the immensity of creation. As much as we can conclude, understand, make sense of, it's the one sheet of paper from the ream. The other 499 are our sense of humility compared to the one we have some semblance of understanding. Again, it can be however one wants to perceive it. So, my recommendation is to perceive it with a sense of positivity. We perceive something at all. Being thankful for this opportunity, for even being alive. Taking these ideas and these concepts with oneself as you carry through one's day, from time to time, acknowledging and finding a sense of awe in one's own being, a sense of reverence and amazement are or is the definition of awe. Reverence and amazement or astonishment. Finding this inside as you shimmer with life energy. The combination of it all, of our processes, of our senses of awareness. Yes, calm, peaceful, at ease, gentle, kind, understanding, full of compassion and empathy. Yes, these two. Planting seeds of virtues, qualities, characteristics, whatever name you choose, whatever virtues you choose, as our uniqueness dictates, as our moment dictates. It is always changing, yes, oscillating. So, we don't want to get caught up too much in one particular drama of our lives. It is a continuity of flexibility and adaptability, changing circumstances, one might say, leading our lives self-nourishing, and in this, nourishing all around us, like that beacon, which is our goal, shining upon all that we can be. One's family, one's friends, one's community, one's nation, one's world. Thinking about what we are doing every day, every way. Smile. Nourish and grow the garden in your soul. Namaste.